Today, I have two guests on that you are going to benefit from their amazing question. I asked two people, one acupuncture student and one practitioner, to come and ask their questions so I could help them and guide them, because so many of us have so many questions that are unanswered. And this episode, you absolutely cannot miss. We talked about social media and how to go about social media, to go on camera, to be on social media, to try to grow a practice. We talked about what do we do? How do we figure out how many treatment the patient needs if they don't have the finance to be able to do so? We talked about so many things. You guys are going to love Matt and Liga, who had the grace to come in and ask the best question. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm super excited today because my two guests are awesome TCM rock stars, and I have two guests today. Yay! This is pretty new to the AcuPro Show. So I want to first say thank you for coming on the AcuPro Show, Matt and Liga. So I'll start with the women first. We're going to be very chivalresque. And I'll ask Liga, where are you located? How long you've been practicing? Tell me a little bit more about you.
I'm in England, southeast of London, and thanks for inviting to this podcast. It's truly amazing, and I appreciate everything that you do for this acupuncture community. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And I'm actually becoming a newbie, a TCM star. I'm not actually qualified acupuncturist yet. I'm in the process, and it's still a bit more than a year for me to become a fully qualified acupuncturist. But I have already started thinking about those things, how to promote myself, because I'm quite aware when we qualify, it will be kind of too late to just start thinking about what's going to happen, and then we end up no clients for the first 2 weeks, first 4 weeks, or first 6 weeks. I'm probably taking it slower at the moment, but building the practice and building some kind of initial things that will be important when I qualify.
I love that you said that you're still a student and you haven't finished school, because I think a lot of people, including myself, when I finished school, I came out, I knew nothing about promoting my services. Nobody had taught me anything in school. And I just went out and it was a disaster, right? I had no patience and it was just so difficult. So I'm glad that you're proactive, because TCM is about preventative health, right? It's about prevention. This is the same thing. You're preventing, you're starting getting slowly ready. So once it starts to start, you'll be ahead of the game. So I want to applaud you for that. And I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Matt is my second guest today. And so I would love for you to share how long you've been practicing and where you are, Matt.
Thank you. Also, just to mirror what Liga said, thanks so much for having us on. Thank you for everything you've done. There's books in the background there that helped me an awful lot when I was studying. So thank you, and it's great to connect with you as well. So I'm in the west of Ireland, not too far from the city of Galway. I qualified in 2021, so I've been qualified a little while, but it took me a while to step away from my day job. I was in the corporate world for quite a long time, so it took me a while to step away, and I started practicing fully towards the end of last year, but really from January this year. So I'm also new, but just a couple of steps on from you, Liga, not many. So I've started to get clients, which is great. After your social media masterclass, I've really upped my game in that regard. So that's good, but I've still got a handful of clients, and I'm trying to work out how the handful becomes a bucket.
That's awesome. And I love that you guys are both not quite in the same space. So that's great, because then I can get two different perspectives. That's great that you're both from Europe and both from the UK area. Matt, it's great that you started part-time while keeping your job to be less stressed about going full-time. Some people, that's really useful for them. So I think that for some people, that is a good idea to hear, that it's okay to have two jobs until you feel comfortable enough to go full-time. For some people, they might go right in from the beginning. You know, everybody's different, but there are options. And then now, since January, congratulations, you're full-time. Woohoo!
Yeah,
so
thank you.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. I'm sure you have tons of questions. So I'll start with Liga. Again, I'll start with the girl. Matt has been such a gentleman.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go for it, Liga.
Tons of questions, obviously. As a beginner, you think, first of all, where to start, what's the most important, and it's kind of like that plan. Actually, I find it quite difficult to make the whole plan, even in my head and on the paper. Where do you start? Do I need a business card? If I have a business card, I need a website. I haven't done that yet. Then I chat with a lady in a shop and she says, oh, have you got some leaflets? And I say, oh, I haven't got leaflets. So where do I start? Then I go on Canvas and I think, oh my God, that's overwhelming. And then I watch Clara's masterclasses and she talks about some really kind of technological things which I'm not using. And that becomes a bit like a snowball where you think, which are the most important first steps? And in terms of social media, is it really for me at the moment? I've actually purposefully tried to step away from social media because I found it quite disturbing. And now I think I need to get back into it again and I need to learn.
Okay, I appreciate that. So the beginning and starting feels overwhelming. When you go to TCM school and you learn foundation, diagnosis, all the acupuncture point, anatomy, physiology, you're like, oh my gosh. And then herbs put in there because we learn herbs as well. And you're like, that's so much information. It's so overwhelming because everything comes at you so fast and so much that you're just like, how is this even going to ever make sense? But it does eventually, right? So building a practice with the promoting your services and, making sure people know where you are is one step at a time. So it's kind of like we have one class, which is foundation and diagnosis and acupuncture point. Do one thing at a time. Don't think you have to do everything. So when it comes to starting, you could start your website now. The reason I would start now is because it takes Google months and months to index a website. So the longer your website is out, the easier it is that when you start a year from now, your website's already indexed with acupuncture words in it, Chinese medicine words in it. Now, on your website, you don't have to have 20 million pages. You can just say, this is my journey to learning acupuncture as a future acupuncturist. Already you have keywords in there, acupuncturist, acupuncture, right? And then you could say the area you are in, because then that's really important for the geo tag that would mean that Google would know where you are. So you could say below, you could say, I'm studying at this college in this area and I'm loving what I'm doing. And you could just say that. And then you could have an about me, like it's just a page that say who you are, why you decided to go to school and study this. And then that's it. But you have something. And then when you start practicing or when you're done school and you want to start practicing, it's easy. You just add up your price page, the service you offer. You can already write down the services and say, this is what I plan to do, and then you could take that part that says, this is what I plan to do off. And those are now your services, right? So you could just have 3 pages, your home page, you're a student and you're going to become a future acupuncturist, about page, and then your services, and that's it. And all you would have to add at the end is a contact page with a call to action. Book an appointment with me, blah, blah. You're way ahead of the game if you do this. And that won't take you long. You can use places like Wix, Weebly, Square, which are drag and drop. So they're super easy. You could just put your picture, write your text, super simple. It doesn't have to be something complicated or hire someone to do a website. If you want to do that later on, you can. But start easy. All you need to do is figure out your domain name and purchase that. What do you want to be called? So for me, when I started, I didn't know what I wanted to be called, which was unbelievable. I got that because there are a lot of people with my name all over the world. But I got claracohen.com, and I don't know how I got it, but I got it. So I got my name. You might be able to get your name. And if later on you want to have a name of a clinic, that would be whatever you want to call it, let's say Red Tree, you can add that up and change it. But your website, when people Google your name, they will find you right away no matter what, right? So if you can purchase your name, that'd be great. If you can't, that's okay. If you already know what you want to be called, then great, go for it. And if your name is taken, I have friends that have taken their name. Let's say, I don't know your last name, Liga, but let's say it's Lace. Okay.
Lace, yeah.
So Liga Lace, you could just put acupuncturist.com behind it if it's taken, right? Or you could say aculegalace.com, and then you can change the name later on. But when people Google that name, it will come up. Just start with that for now. And don't overwhelm yourself with too much. Once that's done, leave it be. And then the next action step is to see, okay, well, do I have to go on social media? Maybe I just start something and then I just post my journey, like literally post a picture of you in class and say, today learning about this, it's so difficult, or I love this subject, or whatever, and just do that. I didn't have social media, but I used to work in the fitness industry, and I used to teach aerobics classes and all that kind of stuff, and hip-hop dance class, past life. But when I was in school, I kept doing this on the side as a way to support myself, right? So I would come to class and I would say, oh my gosh, you guys, today I learned about the yin-yang theory. Okay, I have to explain to you what I learned. And then I would spend 5-10 minutes before class telling them about it. So they would get so excited. They would add questions. And by the time I finished, I remember people were like, wow, I feel like this is so exciting and I want to learn more about it and I want to come and see you. And, so I was promoting without promoting. I was just sharing my journey and people were getting excited. What is Twina? What does that mean, Twina? And I would say, I know, I never even heard of it. It's Chinese massage. So start sharing your journey as a student. And then that account, let's say it's Instagram, if you like Instagram, that account is building itself. And then you can transition later on super easy because you're not starting from zero and you still already have Chinese medicine and acupuncture information in there. So that's really cool.
Thank you, Clara. That's amazing, because it was one of my questions as well, whether it's better to choose the domain name by your name or whether it's better to choose something nice, like whatever appeals to people. And again, what services you offer, because my idea is a bit of everything, including massages and holistic treatments. Because I'm studying naturopathy as well, it's not just purely acupuncture. It might be quite a few services in the future.
For your services, you could start putting all the stuff you're learning. And as you start your practice, you might start taking some off because you're not really enjoying it and really pushing at the top what you really enjoy, right? So let's say if you're learning homeopathy and then homeopathy wasn't really your thing, you're like, okay, you put it down. Or you even take it off if you don't want to really push that, right? So that's how you can go about it. Like there's a lot of practitioners that do laser acupuncture. I don't. So it's definitely not part of my services because I don't really like laser. I've taken some course and stuff. It's not for me. So great. Okay. I've learned some stuff, but I'm not interested. So I'm not going to promote it. I'm going to promote what I like to do. So you've found your way in that perspective. And for the domain name, get your name. It's always good because people will remember who you are if they come and see you and they're like, oh, go see my acupuncturist. Oh, what's her name? They'll know your name before they know your clinic name, right? They will remember your name because they come in. They're like, oh, hi, Liga. Like her name is Liga Lace. So do that first. But then if you want to be having your own clinic name because that resonates with you, then put that as well. You can absolutely put that as well. But start with that because that's easy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Monsieur Matt, thank you for being here again. And you always have such a really good energy. I love that when we did the masterclass, you had your big smile. And I love your energy. So your turn. Ask your question.
Thank you. I'm going to ask a question about when clients come into clinic, because obviously I've studied, I've passed my exams, I've got the knowledge, we could say. But one of the things I found most challenging is when somebody comes in and you haven't spoken to them before the appointment. So you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to say. And you're trying within 20 minutes, half an hour, to look at somebody. You're trying to do the listening, the smelling, looking at the tongue, feeling the pulse. And you're looking them in the eye and you're trying to put together an acupuncture prescription almost that you need to give to them in the next 10 minutes. And I'm doing it, and in fairness, I'm getting results, so people are happy, so that's good. But I would say I find that challenging, and I don't know, is there any shortcut to it? Because obviously people can come in with an endless amount of things that they want you to help with. So I find that a challenge. So I just thought I would ask your opinion. Did you have the same problem at the beginning? And if so, what did you do?
Absolutely, I did. I really like that question as well, because I think we all struggle with that. one of the things we have to remember is we have all this knowledge, how many years we went to school full time, and we have this knowledge. But the best learning part is our patients are going to teach us. At the beginning of my practice, I had someone coming in and they're like, I'm doing IVF. And I heard that acupuncture is great to support IVF. And I'm thinking, okay, I know that's in vitro fertilization, but I have no really idea what exactly that entails. What do they do, right? I don't know nothing about it. And at the time, there was not a lot of internet or anything that you could Google right away. But even if you can, you are talking to this person the first day and you have to understand what they're going through, and you may not know, right? And I didn't know. So I had to go and take all the courses and read all the books and learn much more about this subject, because I ended up really being passionate about supporting patients with fertility. But the point is, we can't know everything, and the patients are going to teach us. What is great about what we do is, okay, so someone comes in and let's say it's insomnia for the last 10 years, but they have other problems, right? They have IBS and they have stress and they have dysarthritis and they have a million things, like you said, and we're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this, right? And then you're thinking, well, they have spleen chi deficiency, but I see some stagnation and some fire in there and there's some dampness and there's so many patterns, I don't even know where to start. Absolutely normal to do that until you get to practice a lot and a lot more. So the first thing that I would think of as that first day is, okay, my patient is here for insomnia. So my point is to really focus on that. I am going to pick points that calm the insomnia, even though I may not be sure about my diagnosis. We know we can use Heart 7 and Yin Tong and Ear Shenmen and all the points that can calm the patient for that. And then at the same time, I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to focus on this person is really more deficient than they are excess, or vice versa. They're really excess and not too much deficient. So focus on one of them. Either you're going to boost them or kind of calm and clear things. And so start with just that. Once they're on the table, relook at your notes, relook at everything, and start going, okay, this group, I have 5 for spleen chi deficiency. I only have 2 for liver chi stagnation, and I only have 1 for kidney chi deficiency. So I'm going to focus on spleen chi deficiency first. Okay, how do I do that? Well, next time I will use spleen 6, stomach 36, because I didn't today. Let's say if you didn't, right? I'm just talking if you didn't. And when 6 to boost that energy to lift. Okay, so I'm going to add up those points. So you have to think that with each week that the person comes, you'll get a better idea of this person. It's kind of like when you meet someone for the first time, you have your first impression of that person. But as you get to know them, you're like, oh, I didn't know you were so creative. Wow, that's amazing. Because you didn't know, because they came with maybe being very detail oriented, and that's what you saw first. Well, with patients, it's the same. They're not going to tell you everything the first day because they have a thing. Oh, I came for insomnia. So you're going to see that, and I'm sure you've seen that, where people say, oh, how's your digestion? Oh, it's fine. And I'm like, okay, you have a bowel movement every day? Yeah. And then they come back the next week like, well, I was thinking about this. I don't always have it every day, but, it's my normal. Ah, okay, now we get a bit more information. So I think as you get to know your patient, you also get to tailor the treatment much deeper. So it's very hard on the first day, unless they came for a sprained ankle and you just have to treat the sprained ankle, to figure it all out. So give yourself some grace and go, okay, I'm just going to go with what they came for today. And then I'm going to tailor this a little bit more while they're on the table. And then next week, each time, I can tailor and go with what's happening. Is that helping?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's definitely that initial consultation that is tricky. So it's comforting to hear that what you've suggested is kind of what I'm doing. So that's good. I'll probably have another question off the back of that, but I'll let Liga go and come back to me.
I'll go back to my beginners stuff about this social media stuff. What is the actual return on investment? Because it actually requires a lot of time, which I struggle sometimes. Even responding to your personal text messages is a struggle sometimes, but when you have to sit and write all these posts and create them and repost and keep them active on the social media, what is your advice? Is it worth hiring someone, or is it your own kind of effort? Because I think it will overwhelm myself if I start doing everything myself.
You have 2 choices. When I started practicing, there was no social media at all. So I didn't have that choice. It was either you're on social media because it's free, or or you pay and you spend money to advertise, right? And in my case, I had to spend money if I wanted to, or try to figure out ways to promote my services in a free way. So in a free way, I could go to the local area and start giving talks, right? And when you give talk, you cannot just come and say, oh, acupuncture does this, it's great for this, and that's how it works, and blah, blah. You want to pick a subject and you want to educate people about it. So for me, when I gave talks, I went to a nutrition supplement store and I said, hey, I'd love to give a talk on the nutrition perspective of Chinese medicine. And I just talk about cold food versus hot food, if you're really hot all the time, really cold all the time. So you're giving value to people, because the people that are sitting there going, oh my God, I'm cold all the time and I always have raw salad. I didn't know, right? So you're educating about this and then you're explaining, and then you can put in there what acupuncture does, what you do, all that stuff, but you want to give value. So that's something you can do for free. You can do this at the public library, at the community center, at stores. You can do this you can volunteer also to different events to do that as well. So that is free without being on social media. I had a sandwich board outside of my clinic. That's what I did. I paid for the sandwich board. I think it cost me $300 at the time to kind of like my own little outside the door advertising. And then at the time there was websites. So I just started my first website. You should have seen this website. It literally had pink flowers everywhere. I was obsessed with flowers. So I thought that was really smart to put pink flowers everywhere. I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? But anyway, that was my first website. And a lot of people were not Googling. They were asking other people, right? At the time, I had the choice to pay to advertise in the local magazine, local newspaper, and then you pay the money. I didn't have the money, so I did not do that. It's a choice. If you have the money, you can advertise in the local area. You absolutely can do that. Or you can hire someone to do social media. Most of us, when we finish school, we don't have the funds, right? We're trying to grow a practice. We have to pay rent. We have to pay our student loan. There's all those things, so we don't have the money. So yes, it is time. So it depends what's more worth and if you have the time. However, listen to this. It depends on who you are. But in general, when you first start practicing, you're not really busy. Let's face it, we're not really busy, right? So if your goal is to work 7 hours, 3 days a week, let's say that's your goal. I want to do 7 hours, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are my days, whatever you decide you're going to do, right? Think of this. So I'm seeing 2 patients on Monday, and I give them extra time because there's nobody else. So that's great. So now I have 4 hours of my day that technically I have nobody. So people are like, oh, great, I'll go home, I'll walk the dog, I'll do this. You have 4 hours. This is your time to promote your services. You got to work at your business, right? So think of that at the beginning. You'll have lots more time to do that social media thing than you will later on. But later on, you're so busy, it doesn't really matter if you're not really on social media. So if you have the time, pick one social media. Don't go on 20. Pick the one you enjoy the most. So let's say it's Facebook, it's Instagram, whatever you enjoy the most, and you know that you or your potential patients are also there. Let's say you're on Instagram, we'll pick that one. You have your Instagram, and then you decide, I'm just going to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's it, 3 days a week, right? And so literally all you have to do nowadays is go to AI, like ChatGPT, and say, I want to write an Instagram post on the function and amazing benefits of doing liver 3. What is liver 3 used for? This is for my audience. My audience is potential patient. It's going to write the post. Everything you don't like, don't put it in, change a few things. Takes 2 seconds. You don't even have to think about it. Make sure that it is accurate and the liver 3 information is accurate. That's also important. And then you put it there, and then that's it. You could put a picture of liver 3. You could literally take a picture of your foot with your finger on liver 3. So once you do that, you schedule. So you don't have to be there every day, right? The best thing to do is to pick your favorite points, like heart 7, PC6, easy, it's on the hand, right? Large intestine 4. And then you literally take a picture of yourself doing this. That's it. And then you put the description below, which you ask AI or ChatGPT for. You make it your own way. And then that schedule. You could have 3 points this week, large intestine 4, liver 3, and heart 7, right? And that's how you go. We have 365 points. Technically, you could have a different point every day, which we're not going to do. But there's that. Then you can go on my thing, and then you can literally take one of my thing and remix it. So with Instagram, you can click on my video or a reel that you think your potential patient could have, and you click remixed. It's not stealing, it's remixing. You can write your caption and off schedule it. So you don't even have to make a video yourself. You can use somebody else's. It doesn't have to be mine. It could be anybody. But what you want to do is, it's kind of like building a practice. Build 60 posts. That's all. So right now, every day, this is my challenge to you. For the next 60 days, make one post. Don't make it complicated. Make one post. You can leave it in your draft, whatever you want to do. And then schedule them all out for 60 days. If you have 60 posts and you do 3 times a week, I mean, if you look at that, 3 times a week multiplied by 4 weeks is 12. You now have 5 months. 60 posts is 5 months worth of social media. And all you had to do is make that. Once you've done that 5 months, start again, repost the same thing. You know how much time that will save you? Because 5 months later, the people that were seeing your post are completely different. You have grown your account, plus the one that didn't see it get to see it, right? So all it is build a little library, a mini library. Even if you want to start 30 days, 1 post a day, now I have 30 days, 30 posts. And 30 posts is going to give you at least 3.5 months if you do 3 times a week, right? So think it as little step. Don't think, oh my God, I got to be there all the time, right? And then that way you can go twice a week, let's say Monday and Friday. You just go for 10 minutes, look at if anybody had comments, answer them, done, see you, done, right? Because that's it. Don't overcomplicate it, and you can repurpose. There's a video out there that I think I've put like 7 times and still people haven't seen it. It does well every time. And I'm like, all right, I don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? So, because it's repetition, like TCM. It's like repeat until we get it, right? Does that help a little bit?
Yes, thank you. I actually have a question as you started talking about, years ago, there was a big thing about copyright and them things. So it seems that nowadays we can just put anything in ChatGPT, copy, and not worry about any copyrights anymore. I'm not sure how much we can just take the content, also how reliable it is in terms of where does it come from.
Yeah, I think ChatGPT, Perplexity.ai is another one. They use the web, right? They search the web for the information and they gather, let's say there's, 522 websites that talks about liver 3. They'll just take that and then write the information that's common between all those 520 something. I never take it exactly how it gives me. I always make some change because sometimes the tone is ridiculous or sometimes it's very fancy tone or it uses word that I would never use at all. Like, I am going to delve into this. I've never even heard of delve or the secret to this. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. But I can keep some of it. In the end, it's your own version of what it gave you from 523 version. So it cannot be copyright the same thing, right? With AI, I think you're good to go if you just kind of dress it up a little bit the way you are, but at least it gives you a start. And I don't think you'll have any issue. I don't know where this is going to go, but we could see that right now, ChatGPT is creating really good images, right? Everybody's playing with the images. I just played with them yesterday and have fun with it. Well, they're taking images from all over, from graphic designers, from everything, and then they come up with this. So it's not great for graphic designers, but it's not from one person. So you can't have the copyright issue, I guess, because you don't know what each source comes from. So it's fascinating. This whole thing is fascinating. So I don't know where we're going with this, but if it helps you go faster at this stage, you'll be fine.
Thank you. Matt, your turn.
Thank you. Just before I ask my question, just if I'm allowed to add a little answer to Liga as well. I did Clara's masterclass, or both of them, and the one about postings on social media, other than doing reels, because I haven't got that brave yet, everything else I've followed to the letter. And honestly, I spend 1 day a month doing my social media. So I put it in my calendar, set it aside, and as Clara suggested, at whatever time I decide to start, I spend the whole day and I don't stop until I'm done. And I do enough for the month, have it all scheduled, and that's it, done. And then I don't do it again. It does work, what I'm
Sounds
saying.
brilliant. I don't know how to use quite a few things from them. Reels, not a social media person. All I can do is put a little post on Facebook. That's my maximum,
Well, that was me too. I was the same.
I need to learn all those things, how to actually integrate them into your daily routine, and also kind of cross-share across the platforms and Reels, and how to even make them videos or anything. I'm not really confident. I need to ask my 2 sons. Probably they are clever.
Yes, exactly. The young people
outsourced to my own family.
Yes, you should. That would be fun for them. They could take a video of you talking or whatever, and then they could add up the caption. And believe you me, we're all at the beginning at one point. You know how social media change all the time. There's still things sometimes. It comes up in front of me and I read this and it says, oh, try this new thing. And I'm like, what is this? I don't even know. But I'm never scared to click and see what happens. Because you never know what happens. And then I'm like, no, this is not for me. Okay. Or it's like, oh, I can play with this. Okay, let's see what happens, right? And yes, sometimes it's just not going to be useful, but don't be scared to just go, well, let's see what happens, right? The beginning is very overwhelming, but you've been on Facebook long enough that you know how to put a post. So you don't have to worry about all the detail. Just put your post. That's it. Start with that. Put your post. Yeah, because you've done this personally, right? So it's the same thing. Start slow. And like Matt said, it's really good to be organized in a way that you do it in advance. All my podcasts, for example, we record them, edit them, and they're posted in advance. Otherwise, I would feel so overwhelmed if every week I got to scramble at the last minute. It'd be so hard, right? So that's really important. If you give yourself that little buffer, then you won't feel overwhelmed. And don't think you have to know all the technical stuff. Just have fun with it. Say, you know what? I'm in school today. I'm learning this. I'm going to take a picture. Just put it in and then say what you would say to a friend. You would say, oh my gosh, today I learned this. And it's amazing. I can't believe this is so cool. And whatever you would say to a friend, that's what you do. Easy.
Thank you. Very, very inspiring.
Good. I like that. So Matt, thank you for sharing, by the way, and thank you for taking action. I love that, because otherwise we learn and we don't take action, then that's not going to be useful. I'm so proud of you. Yay!
Thanks.
I'm going to challenge you on this one. The reason I'm going to challenge you is because every 2 weeks I put a new YouTube video. YouTube video takes about 5 hours for me between preparing, recording, editing, uploading, putting the description, etc., etc. It's a 5-hour process in general. It's a lot of time. Creating the thumbnail, all that stuff takes a lot. If I don't publish that long form video every 2 weeks, no one will get hurt, right? Nothing bad's going to happen. Nothing. But I said that I would do that at the beginning of the year in my podcast, that every 2 weeks I would have a long form and the opposite week I would have a guest podcast. So if I give my words, then I have to follow my words, right? The accountability is to yourself, so it makes it harder. Now think, the accountability is not to yourself. The accountability is to your future potential patient who's waiting for you to show up and help them.
Very, very true.
Right? So when I publish that video on YouTube and I'm going, oh my gosh, I'm late, I gotta put that work. This is completely free. It doesn't cost anything to anybody, but they benefit from it because my whole purpose is to support people and to support students and practitioners and to support everybody with all this information I have in my brain. So I want to help, right? So when you want to help patients, if you're on social media and you commit to publishing 3 times a week, you are promoting our whole profession as a whole. You are promoting the TCM community, you are promoting acupuncture, and then you're promoting to potential patients who didn't know that we could do Moxa to turn their breech baby and ended up with a C-section. You can prevent that. So think of that accountability is not for you technically, it's because you want to change the world and help people. Yes?
Amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Matt, what's your next question?
Talking about clients coming in, and one of the things I struggle with a little bit in my mind is frequency of treatment. So I know in ancient China, when people started doing acupuncture, it was a preventative tool rather than a reactive tool that we tend to use it for. The treatment cycle would be quite regular. But on the other hand, people can't afford to come every day, or twice a week or whatever. So most of my patients end up on a 2-week cycle, which is reasonable because they seem to be improving. Could it be quicker? Yes, probably. But financially, it's still a burden for them. So again, did you have a similar experience? And I'm trying to be very empathetic to my clients too, that they don't just have a bag of gold to throw at me. They have to mind their finances as well, right?
I totally understand that, and everybody has a different finance story, obviously. Now, it's tougher depending where you are, because in Canada, a lot of people are covered, insurance company cover for acupuncture, so it helps a lot. You're absolutely right. Once the coverage is over or they've spent it all, right, then they will be able to come less frequently because they have no coverage left. So I totally know where you're coming from. And if people don't have coverage, then that makes it a little bit more difficult. So what I tell patients is my best treatment plan for you right now would be whatever it is, right? So would be to see you weekly, let's say, or to see you twice a week for the next 3 weeks, or to see you weekly for a little while until we get some progress. You can educate the patient and tell them what would be best. Now, when the patient's like, that's too much, I can't afford to come weekly, I have to come every 2 weeks, I'll say, okay, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to come every 2 weeks, but I need you to do the work, which means that I am going to recommend a few lifestyle changes you need to tweak and make in order for us to work together, right? I'm going to guide you. I'm going to help you with the acupuncture, but you're going to need to do your part as well. And if you do your part, then every 2 weeks is going to work for you to progress much faster. Does that make sense? And people understand that. Right? So, because diet makes a huge difference. If you can find ways to release stress, to figure out ways that, for example, I have a lot of people that say, I come home and after putting the kids to bed, I just want to watch Netflix and be mindless because I'm so exhausted and I just want to sit there. And then they end up going to bed at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and then they have to get up at 7, and then the day starts again. This is why this is a problem. You're fatigued because you're going to bed way too late, right? So I'm going to make a deal with you. Can we slowly start to back up? It doesn't have to be today, like we change everything, but it's going to be midnight. And then 3-4 days later, it should be 11. And 3-4 days later, it should be 10:30. So 10:30 is your cutoff. And then instead, wake up at 5:30, that's 7 hours sleep, or 6 o'clock, that's 7.5 hours sleep. And you still have that hour to yourself. In the morning, your body is much more relaxed. You had slept the night. So now you can do things that are good for you. And it could be to journal, to meditate, to go for a walk by yourself, to just sit and look out the window and be, because nobody takes the time to just be and do nothing anymore, right? So let's reverse that, because Netflix might relax you, but then you're stuck till the middle of the night, and then you watch shows that are probably crime-oriented or gory or bloody, and then your brain doesn't stop at night, and then you're exhausted when you wake up. So let's start with that, and then see each other every 2 weeks, and we're going to get such better results. And so whatever it is that you think you would want to recommend, being, like I said, diet, exercise, whatever it is, then explain to them that we're working together and that works. If not, then you need to come more often so we can get the results, right? Because acupuncture is going to help your body self-regulate. So the more you do on your own, the easier we're going to get. So if you say that, and if you do, and if they do comply, then you're going to get great results. And then acupuncture, everybody's going to be happy. Your patient's going to be happy. So I think that's the best way when people can't afford to come as often, is to really emphasize that they need to also do the work, because they'll get the results faster than if they were coming more often. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it's comforting to hear you say that, because that is kind of what I'm doing. I haven't said to them the bit about coming twice a week, but I do try and give my business is based on a holistic solution. So I say to him, acupuncture is amazing, but it's not actually magic. So there's some things you've got to do, some things I will do, and in the middle of the space, it works. So hearing your answer is a great comfort to somebody who's relatively new. So yeah, that's good.
Matt, you're doing everything right. And you know why you're doing everything right? Because I can feel that you just want to help people and you want to use this medicine to help people and you're passionate about it. And so you can't go wrong. Your intention is so good that it's all going to work really well for you.
I hope so. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll give one question each of you now left. So Liga, one more question for you, then one for Matt, because I feel like this was such great questions that I hope a lot of people benefit. So I, again, appreciate you being here. Liga, go for it.
Almost every beginner might come across that thought about imposter syndrome, whether I'm good enough to be there, whether I'm good enough to promote myself, who is going to come and see me and who needs my services. And like you, Clara, you are proud of your French background. I'm from Latvia. I'm Latvian and from a very small Baltic country, a beautiful green country. But I live in London and I'm obviously not a native English person, but I'm proud to be in this country as well. And I absolutely love what I'm doing here. And sometimes, I think, am I good enough for people around me here? And that kind of thought crosses my mind every so often.
So the imposter syndrome, I think every one of us has the imposter syndrome. I have been online with this AcuPro Academy, social media, website, courses, books, all this kind of thing for now 10 years. We celebrated 10 years, which is unbelievable to me. I never knew when I started that this would take this big of meeting people from all over the world like you guys. It just blew me away because I started for my students to give them more resources. It was literally for my students for school. And then people came from all over and I was just like, oh, wow, this is so cool. When I first started AcuPro Academy online, I had major imposter syndrome because there was a lot of people online that were much more knowledgeable in TCM than I was. And I remember thinking, who am I to go in there, right? Like, this is ridiculous. So I've had the same thing 10 years later. Sometimes I just got asked to go on an event and to speak at an event online. It's an online event. It's completely free and it's coming next week. For people that are listening to the podcast, it will have passed because this podcast will come out after. But when they ask me, I went to check what they do and I'm like, I don't belong here. I shouldn't be there. Like, why did they ask me? I just don't belong, right? Even after 10 years of being online and all this, that people think I have confidence, I still have the imposter syndrome on everything all the time. But having said that, it comes back to the same subject we had earlier. I always think, well, my passion is to promote TCM. So I'm going to do my best with my best heart, come from my heart, my intention. And if that serves one person, 10 people, 100 people, then I did my job. So I think we all have that imposter syndrome. I still post things online and you get 200 people that say, thank you, that's so useful. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it wasn't that exciting. I just talked about something that we all know, but you can't take for granted that what you know, a lot of other people don't. And when you are a new practitioner and you're like, who am I, right? Well, you're another person that people are going to connect with. It's kind of like relationship, like you are meeting someone and it doesn't work out and you break up. And so should we all stay home and go, well, I'm not good enough to be in a relationship, so I'll never be in one again because I'm not good enough. There's millions of people in relationships that are completely different than who we are, right? There are millions of singers and actors that are completely different from each other, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses, right? And so someone might come and see you because your name is Liga, which is kind of cool. Now that you told me you come from Latvia, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So because you are from Latvia. They might come and see you because you wrote on your bio that you love to hike and you're always out with your dog. Oh, you have a dog? Oh, I'm coming to see you because you have a dog, right? People connect with different things. I have people that come and see me because I'm French, even though they don't speak French necessarily. I have people come see me because I have a golden retriever and they love golden retrievers. Like, it could be a silly thing, right? That people connect with you. And as a woman, Matt, sorry to say that, but this is a woman thing a little bit more because women and their hair, I have really a lot of thick hair. And when I go to a hairdresser for the first time, I have to connect to that person because they're going to do my hair and my hair is a big deal to me. Right? And so it's really important that I can connect to this person and they understand who I am and whatnot. There's millions of hairdressers. And there are people I went to and I never went back. Nothing to say. It just wasn't my vibe. And then I found my girl and I'm like, I'm never leaving her, right? She's my girl. And I think with our profession, people come and see us for us because we all have the same knowledge. We all went to school. We all learned TCM, but it's how they connect with us. And so they come and see us for us. When someone meets you or meets Matt and they're having a great exchange, they're going to go home and say, oh my God, you got to go see my acupuncturist. Amazing. Love him, love her, whatever it is, because they connected with you as a person. So remember that we're all unique and your gift is your uniqueness. And no two people are Liga. So whatever you're doing for people is they connect with you. That's great. Not every patient will connect with you. Some won't. That's okay. That's life, right? So remember that.
Thank you so much. Amazing.
You're welcome. Matt, finish with the big Matt. Ask me that question.
So I think it's only right to ask a social media question because we've talked about it a bit and you've helped me so much along the way. So how on earth do I get the courage to do a reel? Because I record things walking in the park, looking at the camera. I record them sitting here. I record them in my treatment room. And then I watch them back and I go, no. And so how...
Maybe we should get together, Matt.
Yeah. How on earth do I've followed everything else you've taught me and it's brilliant. It's working. So thank you so much. That little obstacle there, I need a little more of a shove, Clara, please. What do I do?
Okay. So when you watch yourself back into the video, what is the criticism that is no? Why is it no?
Well, nobody likes their own voice. You sometimes think some of the mannerisms you use are not right. You often don't like what you see, probably, being honest.
That is correct. You are correct. You're answering your own question. We talked about being on Facebook when I first started. I put a lot of posts, right? And then I would write the post and they would do really well. And then eventually I was like, okay, I should make some videos. Before I started being on camera, I started to make videos where I was not on camera. So you could start by creating a video where you literally put your hand down on your desk, right? And then you can put a sticker on Li4, for example. And then you could just put your camera above. You can hold your camera above. You can do this, like move your thumb close and open. So you're actually moving. And then that's it. That's literally 7 seconds. We don't need a lot. And then you add up the caption saying large intestine 4, one of the best point for headaches, whatever you want to say, best point for headaches. This is the one I use for everyone. Read the caption for more, and then you can explain what it does, blah, blah. That's your first video, so you're not on camera. Play with those things first, right? You could do a video where you light up a moxa stick. That's it. You put your phone, or someone can hold the phone. You light up a mustard stick. And then all you can do is say, did you know moxa can help turn a breech baby? Read caption for more. And then you can explain. So do a few where you're not. That's what I did. Yeah. I put in my first few videos, I was not in the video, my face anyway. And I was not talking neither because I was like, oh, the French accent, the teeth are not straight. Who's going to want to see this? Blah, blah, blah. This whole thing like I don't look good, right? Now, what's interesting is Mel Robbins has got a massive podcast, big following, whatever. She's in her 50s. She doesn't put makeup on. She wears big glasses. She's sitting there. She looks like the girl next door that you would know, like the lady next door, right? So it's not like we need to think of like, oh, we have to be glamour and pretty and look perfect and have the perfect voice. So think of that. So the first time you go on camera, Matt, you don't have to talk. Do something where you don't talk to get yourself at least to be on camera, right? And that'll make you laugh because you'll go, oh my God, I look so stupid. But you can just stand there and then go like this, and then the caption can read, acupressure this point opens the nose when you feel congested. And that's it. And at least you're like, okay, now I see myself, but I didn't have to talk. I didn't have to say anything. You could do that, right? So now we see your face because you have a beautiful face and you have a great smile and you have a great disposition. People can connect to that so well. So start with that. The second thing I could say is, when you walk and then you talk and then you're like, oh, I look at it and it's terrible. Take that. Send it to a friend and say, can you critique this? What is bad about this? And I'm going to tell you that they're going to come back and they're never going to say, oh, you look weird, you sound weird, whatever. They're going to say, well, you talk too slow, maybe a little bit faster. Or you talk too fast, maybe slow it down. And I would like to know this and you didn't talk about this and you said too many times. So maybe don't say That you can improve. Everybody can improve that, right? It's not criticizing you. It's criticizing the way your information is presented. So start by just doing you on camera without talking. Then the second step, why don't you do something on camera without talking, but then you record yourself talking over it. So we don't see you talking, right? And then the third step is talk to the camera. Say something. And you could say things that are super, super simple. Like, you could say something like, have you ever tried acupuncture for headaches? Let me know in the comments. That's it. Done. Is that help?
It's massively helpful. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
Brilliant.
That sort of
Brilliant.
steps up to where I'm struggling to be. So I'm going to do that 100%.
Little.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Little baby steps. And then I want you to send me that video in my DM. So send me like the link, share the video in my DM because I will go in comments because I'm so glad that you take action. So little baby steps.
Cool. Thanks so much.
On a technical side, Clara, is mobile phone good enough for those real videos?
100%. Literally 90% of all my
You don't
reels,
need any specific equipment or cameras or professional ones or anything.
90% of my reels, this is how I do them. So the only thing is I have to find the support for it if I want to talk with my hands. One of the things that I recommend is don't be like your head like right in front of the camera, like so close. Give yourself a little bit leeway so people can see your hands, right? Because when it's just above the head, we can't see you. And so hands are very good to communicate, right? A lot of countries, a lot of culture, they communicate with their hands, right? We're saying things visually instead of me saying things visually and not using my hand and standing like this. Use how you talk with other people. Right? So when I was saying to Matt, have you ever used acupuncture for headaches? Let me know. You could say it by standing and not moving, or you can go closer and go, hey, have you? And you can point the finger to you, right? Use for headaches, let me know in the comments. And then you can point towards the comments. That's it. You don't have to put all three, but at least one gesture, that'll help a lot. So yes, and you just need your phone. You don't need nothing else. Another thing that someone told me they did, which I thought that was such a great idea, is that they record themselves every day. They get up in the morning, doesn't matter what they look like, whatever. They get up in the morning and then they put their phone and they have to speak for 30 seconds, whatever they want to say. So it's like you look at your phone and you say something for 30 seconds, whatever it is. Oh, I didn't sleep well last night. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't sleep well, whatever. And they did this for 30 days every day and they deleted all of them. But by day 31, when they recorded their first video for social media, they felt much more comfortable in front of the camera because they practice. The thing that is tough is that when we record on our phone, we get to see ourselves. And sometimes that's scary because you're like, oh my God, look at me in that phone. I look funny, right? So I wish sometimes it was just someone filming you so you don't see yourself. It'd be way easier. But if you record and practice every day, that will really be helpful. There's a lot of people that have a hard time with self-love, and I was one of them. And I read a book years ago that said you have to go in front of the mirror every morning, look at yourself in the eyes, and say, I love you, you are enough. And I remember the first time I started giggling. I couldn't look at myself in the eye. I would look down, and then I was like, this is silly. And then eventually you start feeling it. And then you start understanding that, yes, you are good enough, and I love you. And that changed a lot for me, but it took practice, right? At first, it just didn't feel right or comfortable. So think of that.
Great answer. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Clara and Matt. It's been an amazing evening.
Yeah, it has, yeah. I wish we could carry on, to be honest, but
I am absolutely thrilled that you came on and asked questions, because see, the questions you guys ask, I don't always think about those things, right? Because I'm ahead of the game because I've been practicing for so long. So I don't always think. You had such great, insightful questions. So I really appreciate you guys being on here. Thank you both. And yes, we will do a part 2, because I think this is so valuable to everyone. And that's the whole point, right? We talked about accountability. Like right now, I answered your question, but when we put it online, then we, all 3 of us, are helping hundreds and hundreds of people. So it's so valuable to let go of the imposter syndrome and just go, we're here to help, right? So thank you guys both.
Thank you. I'd love to come back.
Thanks for inviting. Yeah, me too. Hope to see you soon then. Now I have accountability to make those little steps by the next time. It's amazing.
That's even better.
Perfect.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Perfect. Thank you. And once again, Clara, what you do is out of this world. It's just truly, truly amazing. And I got to know about you from one of my tutors. I study at the College of Naturopathic Medicine in London. And my first year acupuncture tutor, she advised us that just go on Clara's website and see there's so much resources. Just sign up for everything. Sometimes I'm behind watching things, but I still have them in the stock.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah. Thank you. And we'll put the link below to the class you guys attended, the master class, because we had 2 master classes, which were really useful to you and I know to a lot of people. So I'll put the link below in the show notes as well for that, so people can check it out as well. So thank you both for being here, and I'll see you both again soon. Yay!
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I truly hope you benefited from this episode, and I would love for you to share it with a friend that may benefit from it as well. Follow the show, leave a review, and if you want more, go to my website, acuproacademy.com. I have tons of resources there with treatment protocols, case studies, free courses, and so much more. And connect with me on all social media at AcuPro Academy. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, X, Pinterest, and LinkedIn and TikTok. And no matter what, keep rocking it using TCM. Please listen to the disclaimer, because the AcuPro Show podcast and material shared through AcuPro Academy, which is a subdivision of Natural Health Sense Incorporated, are designed solely for educational and entertainment purposes. The utilization of information from this podcast or any associated material is at the user's discretion and risk. This content is not meant to replace the guidance of an acupuncturist, Chinese medicine doctor, medical doctor, physician, or any qualified professional, nor is it a substitute for proper diagnosis or treatment. Users are strongly advised not to ignore or postpone seeking medical advice for any existing medical condition with their healthcare professional regarding any health concerns.